Uh, Bob came in 2001, I believe it was 9/11 if I'm not mistaken, and we had 5 or 6 candidates on the slate, and as soon as we saw Bob's credentials and we had an interview, we knew Bob was the man. I mean, it was a no-brainer.
How did Bob Boyce end up at Malvern Prep? First and foremost, I would always say it was by the grace of God, and especially the grace of God for Malvern Prep. Bob at the time had been retired from the Navy as a captain in the Navy, which is a very high rank. I never realized how high it was. It's right below Admiral. And then he had a time at Pico also, where he was very influential in the management of that power plant up in Limerick. And all this time, when he was up at Pico, he began to say to himself that he wanted to give back. He received a wonderful education at Monsignor Bonner High School. The Augustinians were there at the time. When he found out that we were looking for a chemistry teacher in the middle of the year in 2001, he said to himself, "There's my opportunity to give back."
Well, I've known him now for about 8 years. We work together every single day. I talk to him. I mean, he's in this office with me, and we're usually two first people to come in. In fact, I've tried to make it competition sometimes. I don't know if most people come onto campus and they might think that his truck is just a monument in the parking lot because it's always here when they roll in the morning. He's one of the first 3 or 4 people here every single day on campus, and I always make it a point to point out when I beat him.
I mean, Bob brought a lot to the table, and in the 15 years that we've dealt with Bob, it's been a real pleasure. I mean, Bob's a real team player.
Teaching for Bob is not a job. Teaching for Bob is a vocation.
He's here more days in the summer than some of the people that are here year-round for working. He's here almost every single day in the summer, preparing labs, setting up for the next school year. And that's time that he freely gives, doesn't expect anything in return because he's dedicated to his students. He's gone on MECO trips and given up weekends away with family. He's gone on robotics trips and given up weekends away with family. But all that is because that's what's best for the kids.
He was a team player. In fact, I remember one time when Bob and I were the only chemistry teachers. So if we were both sitting in the office, we knew someone was missing her classes. So sure enough, we're sitting there one day, Bob's looking at me and I'm looking at him, and we both said, "Guess what? They're down there in that classroom and there's no teacher down there." So Bob jumps up and he goes, "I know it's my guy," so he runs down there. About 10 minutes later, I look at my schedule. Sure enough, no, it's my class, right? So I walk down there, and there's Bob teaching away like it's his own class, and I thought, hey, let him be. I go over to St. Rita's, get my mail, come back. He's still pontificating. I walk in there, I said, "Bob, they're my guys." Oh, okay, whatever. And so he walks out, But that's the kind of guy he was. He was a trip.
Bob has taught our most rigorous courses, both in chemistry and physics, which is something because especially sciences, people can't change subjects very much. As he's taught at the highest level in those subjects and taught some of our best students that have ever come through the school, and a testament to how much he cared about those courses and how well he prepared those kids for college and then their experience after, is that some of our most prestigious alums come back year after year to see Bob and to thank Bob specifically. And it is no small part his effort that got them to where they are.
We all know about the Terminator. Well, Bob was the accumulator, the ultimate accumulator. I don't mean he was a hoarder, but being a sub-captain, I guess he was used to being his little cubbyhole. So as time went on, that cubbyhole, which now you got to understand, we had this in the office. It was just a countertop that went down and made an L 90-degree bend. And Bob was down in the corner, and he had his little cubbyhole with his chair. And the stuff continued to grow. The paperwork would pile up. The paperwork would come out from the floor. In fact, Mike Proslick was over on the right-hand side, and he actually had to put a fence up to stop the sludge from moving over. And then Bakuti was over on the left, and he was ready to put an electric fence up, solar powered, of course, to keep Bob Boyce in his own container. So it was funny.
Malvern Robotics would not exist without Bob Boyce. He and Tom Stewart started it about 13 years ago. And at the time, Bob had the foresight to see this is a program that was really worthwhile, worth bringing to school because it would benefit our students. We were the 1,168th team internationally to join First Robotics. There are now thousands upon thousands of teams. When Bob said that we should start this team and bring the program to the school, there was no Interact school that had one. We were the only school in the Interact that had a robotics program. Now every school in the Interact has a robotics program. So he was really ahead of the curve on that one and really knew that this was going to be a program to benefit our students and got it here and established well in advance of it becoming a popular program to bring on board.
Bob, I want to thank you for the time we had together. It felt good to know that you were the consummate teacher and good friend. And I wish you well, and I have an idea that your fourth career is still going to be teaching. So I want to thank you for all that you've done for Malvern, all you've done for me as a friend and a compatriot. So thanks a lot, Bob.
Bob, you established the science department that I get to be at the helm of now. It would not be anywhere close to the shape I would want it in if you hadn't planted some of the seeds. The robotics program, the AP program, honors physics, these are things that just would not exist without you. And for that, I'll be forever grateful. You've made my job easy because as I hopefully steer our department into the future, it'll be coming from a great position where you led us to. You are always, always, always welcome back. In fact, we expect you to come back because even though you might be retiring from the classroom, you're still part of our Malvern family, still part of our science department. And when you come back, I'd respectfully ask that you bring some of Cheryl's cooking with you.
Bob, you've been here for 15 years. It's hard for me to believe that. When you first arrived here, I thought you would be here maybe for 5 years. Thank God that was not true. 15 years seems like a long time, but 15 years of Bob Boyce goes by very, very quickly. Bob, every day that you come to school, every day that you talk to a kid, every day that you explain something that is relatively inexplainable so that a kid can understand it, you have made us a better school. I can't thank you enough for all that you've done, for the way you've believed in Malvern Prep, for the way you've believed in our faith, and the way you've worked in the best interests of both of those. If I could give you one award right now, it would be an award for zeal in the pursuit of excellence. That's Bob Boyce, the man with a heart, the man with a mind, and the man with a zeal in the pursuit of excellence. Thank you so much, Bob. We're really going to miss you.